age of 11 until 26 are considered as the Gen Z. These Gen Z generation have a different demands. They don't go after just the brand name. They just go after the brands who have the values which are more matching to their values. For the next 10 years, if you're going to sell fabric or sell fashion, we should focus on the Gen Z. Fashion industry is the second topmost polluting industry in the world, and fortunately or unfortunately, we have no choice but to go in the sustainable manner. So, being the first multinational fabric manufacturer in Sri Lanka, we have started sustainability from a long time, but very recently we have changed or rebranded our sustainability drive in a different manner. Because we have disclosed ourselves to Science Based Target Initiative in 2020. So therefore, now we call it Abhivara 2030. Because why it is 2030? Because to align ourselves for the sustainability Science Based Target Initiatives. And we do the framework in three responsible pillars. One is the responsible discharge. We consider the air emission and water discharge, effluent discharge under that pillar. Responsible consumption of natural resources, where we focus about the water, energy, material, and the chemical. And the responsible thriving planet is our biodiversity drive. So these are the three pillars which I have mentioned like this. And Abhivara 2030 is our newest framework for the sustainability. Why it is Abhivara? Because we picked that word from Vedic scripts. There are 4 Vedic scripts, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharvaveda, and Rig Veda. Abhivara is one of the oldest written word in the history to refer environment. So we picked that word and we term it as Abhivara 2030 to drive ourselves for the targets of science-based targets initiatives for 2030. And as you asked about the strategic importance that we have given to Abhivara, is because we have 4 major areas in our strategic drive. One is innovations and developments. Because as you know, we are in the fabric industry, so fashion is something that we should drive in every day. So the second focus area is the digitalization. It's how we transform ourselves into the new digital space with walking along the corporate business in the world. Third is the sustainability. Of course, that's what we have discussed. And the fourth is our corporate social responsibility. So these are the 4 main pillars that we are driving as a strategic move. So as you can see, from the strategic drives, we are giving a much more priority for the sustainability. As I mentioned, innovation is one of the biggest drive that we are doing, because we are in the fashion business. So the fashions are being changed in every season, every month or every moment. So therefore, we have to be spearheading in the market. So that's why we are developing a new fabric, because I remember a veteran stylist in Italy, Nino Cerruti, once mentioned that excellent fashion is generating out of an excellent fabric. So that means the importance of fabric in the fashion market. So therefore, when we are developing new materials, we consider that one to be more sustainable, because that is a competitive advantage that we have. So therefore, in Teejay, we are developing new fabric types to cater to the future markets and considering the sustainability. So one of the initiative that we have taken is tea dyeing. So as you know, Sri Lanka is very famous for the tea. So we are using waste tea sludge to color the fabric, and it's being commercially We are supplying to a few brands as well now. Some of the other competitors also doing in the market, but however, we also in the tea dyeing business. There are another fabrics that I can share with you is another fabric, we call it undyed fabric. Rather than we are dyeing the fabric, we are using the natural color of the yarn to give the color to the fabric. So therefore, we are cutting down one process and to make the dyed fabric. And of course, we are developing biodegradable fabric as well, where it is faster degradable when it disposed. So therefore, there are so much of different types of fabric that we are developing, focusing on the sustainable manner. So how this connect with the profitability is this way we can reduce the energy, reduce some processes, reduce some conventional things that we used to dye in a conventional manner, traditional manner. So therefore, the cost of the overheads and some of the cost that we can reduce, and therefore it gives a boost to the profitability. In the other side, since the processes are being shortened, we can faster deliver to the customers based on their requirement. But of course, these are new fabric, and these new fabric have some limitations. Sometimes the repeatability and for doing for a larger quantity is maybe challenging. But of course, it's a evolving techniques, evolving developments with our technical team, which we are developing for the brands. That's why we are combining our innovations and the profitability and the overheads. And as you asked about how we connect the people, of course, it's very sometimes comparatively, it may be easier to make fabric rather than changing a mindset of a person. So therefore, changing mindset of people also a challenging target. So how we do it, we use the expertise from different institute in Sri Lanka, in outside Sri Lanka as well, to give awareness to our employees, to our supply chain. So last 2 years, we conducted a supplier forum for all our chemical supplier. We call it Chemisphere. Chemisphere 2022 and 2023. We conducted a particular event, and as a result, we gather all our chemical suppliers into one forum, and then we discuss the way forward, how we require our chemicals to be delivered, how we require our chemical sustainability to be managed. So they listened to our request, and now we are doing much better supply chain with our suppliers. And of course, same thing we did for our waste collectors as well. So when the waste are generated, we need to make use of it rather than just throwing it away, because we are zero landfill company. So we don't dump anything in open areas. So we give upscaling, or rather recycling of our waste. So 100% zero landfill. In our 3 responsible framework, we are driving many sustainability initiatives in all 3 of our plants. So one of the biggest is the water, because we are a highly water consuming industry. For a one given day, we are using about 1.6 times of Olympic swimming pool amount of water for a one given day for dyeing fabric. So likewise, so therefore we are conserving, or we are recycling water. So we are going to use a Japanese system called Yokohoshu. It's a capsule system to where you can recycle the domestic water, and we can use it back to our processes. One of the other is the energy. Of course, we have done the feasibility study to develop or to have roof solar systems, roof solar PV system in our factory. That's been almost finalized, and in near future we will be driving the same project as well. And when considering about the waste, as I told you, most of our waste are being recycled and upcycled. to use it back again as a material for other products as well. These are some of the initiatives. And to another initiative that we have done is to spearhead ourselves with collaboration. So we collaborate with German corporation in Sri Lanka, EcoInvent, and NCPC, National Cleaner Production Center in Sri Lanka, to develop the first LCA inventory database in Sri Lanka. So we are the industrial partner. If you take a garment, it requires, it consumes so much of carbon footprint from cradle to grave. That means from the day, from the yarn at the cotton plantation until it's been disposed in a incineration or in landfill area. So the life cycle assessment is a very important tool to assess the total carbon footprint of a garment. So we were using foreign databases to assess the LCA and conduct LCA in our operations, but now we have spearhead with a collaboration of these entities to develop that one. So that's something that we did for the industry. And if you talk about the other initiatives that we have taken for the sustainability drive, is our biodiversity. So we are not planting trees anywhere and everywhere. We are planting trees to have a direct impact to the business. So we have 3 production facilities, 2 in Sri Lanka and 1 in India. So in the 2 Sri Lankan facilities, we are using water from the Kalani River. So we are planting trees in the upstream side of the Kalani River. That's for 2 reasons. One is to enhance the water catchment area, and second one is to protect the river bank. So we are getting proper, good enough, sufficient water for the production. And in India plant, we are using water from the Godavari River. So the same tree planting we are doing in the Godavari River upstream side. So these are some of the initiatives that we have done. And of course, energy is another area that we are focusing on under sustainability. So we have developed a real-time monitoring system. The phase 1 is already completed, and now we are going for the phase 2. Our service provider is Dialog Sri Lanka, with the collaboration of University of Moratuwa Mobile Communication Laboratory. We have developed how to monitor each and every energy sources from each of our machines in machine-wise. So we can extract the data real-time, and it's being recorded real-time in the cloud platforms. So the objective of that one is to, when the production is going on from the yarn until to the final production or final warehouse, we can keep on track where the product is, and of course we can measure the real-time carbon footprint or the amount of energy that the particular batch is using. So this is something that we have. Phase 1 is completed. Phase 2, most probably within another 1 year's time, we'll be able to complete that one. And when you're talking about the sustainability, it's not about the environment as well. There's a social sustainability as well. So under the social sustainability, we are developing our own people, our own employees. Especially, we are conducting awareness sessions, considering the days, special days like Earth Hour, World Environment Day, World Women's Day. And so we are focusing on those important days and conducting awareness to get all our employees, enhance our employees' awareness as well. Fabric industry is a highly male-dominated industry. We have a lot of male workers. So we started a woman empowering program. We name it as She Can. So that is to empower the women in the manufacturing sector, especially in the fabric manufacturing sector. So far, we have 10% of our employees are female, and out of that one, 27% of females are in the decision-making level. So that's how we empower the women in our factories as well. Prince Vijay arrived to Sri Lanka. Kueni was spinning cotton. So we have a very historic history with the fabric. So, why these customers are coming to Sri Lanka? Because we are competing with the China, Bangladesh, Vietnam, Thailand, India. So, why these brands and customers are coming to Sri Lanka? Because we are doing ethical business. We have transparency, we have knowledge, we have technical expertise, our quality is good, and our communication is good. Most of our people can speak in English, and everybody understand that one. And it is very easy for our employees to make understand something. So those are the strengths that Sri Lanka has. And we have higher hospitality in Sri Lanka. But if you compare this thing with other countries, of course, they also have these kind of qualities. I mean, like hospitality, some other countries also have. But as a combination, Sri Lanka is the best. So that's why these brands are coming to Sri Lanka. So we should encourage the industry to continue the same. And if you compare the Sri Lanka economy before the COVID pandemic 2021, Central Bank report says that 54% of Sri Lanka export economy came from fabric and apparel industry. So therefore, that's how we contribute to the national economy. So a lot of potential. And how we should align is because the fashion industry, as I mentioned you, it's been changed. And the future market is getting different because we call it Gen Z. Gen Z is the individuals who born from 1997 until 2012. So the people who are in between age of 11 until 26 are considered as the Gen Z. So these Gen Z generation have a different demands, different way of thinking, different way of purchasing things or buying things. They don't go after just a brand name. They just go after the brands who have the values which are more matching to their values, personal values. And these Gen Z have more in online purchasing. For the next 10 years, if you're going to sell fabric or sell fashion, I mean, we should focus on the Gen Z. So therefore, now we are developing all our capabilities to match to the future generation. So therefore, and when you are doing this one, of course, as I said, sustainability is a given thing. Now, previously, sustainability was a competitive advantage where you can compete with each other. So that's why people, even the corporate entities, have done or conducted sustainability initiatives individually. But now it is a given fact that sustainability is a must. So therefore now corporations have started collaborating each other to develop sustainable initiative. That's a good thing. But the future is not the sustainability. The future is the traceability, because the brands demands, and of course the new generation is demand the traceability. If you buy a garment, the people want to know where the exact fiber or exact yarn being harvested in a cotton plantation. So that much of traceability the new generation is requiring. So we should align ourselves. So likewise, we are building the capabilities. So if we take this one in the Sri Lankan context, we have a very good resources, very good technical expertise, most importantly the human resource that we have in the country. So if we properly align this one with all entities support, definitely we can do it. And tell you finally, Teejay Lanka, we are evaluating all our sustainability initiatives through HIG FEM index. So the HIG FEM index is the measuring criteria under the Sustainability Coalition in the world. So I'm glad to say last year we managed to score 90% of HIG FEM, which is out of 14,133 entities in 120 countries, we are the number one. That is how our numbers, our initiatives are being verified. These are verified figures. I mean, we can't greenwashing. Greenwashing is something you tell that you don't do it. But this, what we are doing in TJ is ethical, transparent business. And to support that one, of course, last month we also achieved the number one public listed company among 100 public listed companies in Sri Lanka by the Transparency International, and because of our reporting style or transparency in reporting. If any manufacturing organization can do ethical business with the proper transparency and with proper sustainability, of course, there's no boundary for growth. So that's why it is very important for us to look at as in a country-wise or in an entity-wise or in industry-wise to make sure that we do ethical business. And finally, we may be in a highly competitive market where we compete with each other. But when it comes to saving the planet, we should embrace collaboration because there's no planet B still. So it's only Earth and we should protect it.